Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor, and you join me for another part of Tudor Towers. The Archway, which leads to another place. Will I show you through there? Well, you'll have to wait and see. You might be able to discern, on the floor through there, the windfalls, the apples that have fallen from the tree. Quite a few of them there. In a way, an analogy for those appliances that have been disengaged from, cast to one side and left on the floor, deemed of to be no use any longer, left in effect to rot amongst the grass. Of course, you may be able to see that up there in the trees there are others which remain in the active fuel matrix. Those down on the ground aren't active in the fuel matrix, not placed on the shelf because they've fallen to the ground, but there's every chance that they could be picked up. Of course, these particular apples are of no use to anybody but the maggots. But there, up in the tree, remain other appliances that would be active in the fuel matrix. So right up at the top, you would find the former intimate partner primary source, effectively not out of reach, but possibly shelved because there's no ongoing interaction with that individual or hoovering them to extract the very potent fuel from them. That's why the former intimate partner primary source is at the top of the tree of the fuel matrix, because their fuel is the most potent. It's not accessed as often as it is with the intimate partner primary source, hence they're not as important as that intimate partner primary source, but their fuel is more important because either they've escaped or we've disengaged from them. And then when we hoover, not necessarily to draw them back into the relationship, but to draw more fuel from them, the fact that we're able to do so to get them to respond is demonstrative of power, and therefore the fuel is all the more potent. The intimate partner primary source, of course, is high up there also. There, as a consequence of potency of fuel, remember, the intimate partner primary source is the most important source to us, not just in terms of fuel, where they provide most of our fuel, but also because that's the individual that's deemed easiest to control and is one that provides us with the most character traits and residual benefits. Then, in amongst that fuel matrix tree, we will have the secondary sources, non-intimate and intimate partners, the friends, the family, the acquaintances, friends, the families, colleagues, which form the non-intimate secondary sources. And then intimate partner secondary sources, the dirty little secret, the shelf variety, perhaps that person we're dating, perhaps that person we're having an intermittent affair with. And then the tertiary sources, acquaintances and strangers, a multiplicity of those who may be only interacted with on the one occasion, sometimes repeatedly. If you want to understand more about the constitution of the narcissist fuel matrix, you can do no better than read my book, Pipelines, which you'll find on Amazon, but you'll also find in the Knowledge Vault. That explains who's who and where, and also explains to you the different constitutions of fuel matrix dependent on the type of narcissist, because there are variations between the schools with regard to the number of appliances in the fuel matrix and the greater reliance that it's had. If you also want to understand what happens to a narcissist when things go wrong in that fuel matrix, when people escape or when there's disengagement or challenges, etc., you'd also do well to access Understanding Changes to the Narcissist Fuel Matrix, which you can also find in the Knowledge Vault. That will help you understand what happens, for instance, when you escape and the impact it has upon the narcissist. As you know, I always explain to you that you shouldn't be hanging around to watch the reaction of your departure upon the narcissist. That's contrary to your best interests. However, what you are able to do is understand the impact it has. No contact. My book tells you about that. Also does Fury. But also, Understanding Changes to the Fuel Matrix gives you an academic overview of precisely the impact it has upon the narcissist, which you can then understand from the safety of your bed, sofa, desk, swimming pool, wherever it is you might be reading the material from. You don't need to witness the reaction, because if you do, you're engaging with the narcissist. And it might be that the narcissist sees you and attempts some form of hoover on you. So the point with my work is that you're able to understand everything about the narcissist's feelings, responses, reactions, knowledge, outlook, behaviours from safety. you get the understanding from me. As I've explained before, rather than go close to the lines and the Serengeti and risk being mauled to death, you can observe them safely behind the toughened glass at the zoo. You get to learn, you get to experience, but you do so without the downsides that are associated with the day-to-day interaction with a narcissist. So here I am at Tudor Towers, giving you a little more insight into the constitution of the fuel matrix and the people that are in it, and the way that we regard those individuals. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.